Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Andrei and welcome to episode 2 of the Drei Talks Bolol. Drei Talks Podcast where we talk about everything and anything under the sun. Another day, another lesson or realization. You see, one of the benefits of a long commute, since traffic is worse these days because December, is that I get to reminisce and think. Akala mo naman di mo kayang gawin during other times of the day. Pero basta. With me, driving has that effect and literally affords me to be just alone with my thoughts and sift through what goes on my very noisy brain. Totoo. Ang ingay talaga ng utak ko. So, onto the story and the lessons or realizations it came packed with. Now, on my drive to work today, a song from a distant memory came on. O diba? Ang drama agad. So, your tito had a moment. Nag-moment na nga talaga ako while driving. And the song that came on is one that I dedicated to this person I dated 2 years ago. Ang hirap sabihin. I dedicated the song to him after I chose to walk away from him. Manang ising pakikyo nga yung dramatic background music. Now, the moment I thought of that memory, the music came with, I twitched, as in napailing talaga ako. I'll try to find a video of me doing that because usually I record my drives. And then I threw up a little in my mouth. Disgusting. I was an extremely corny person 2 years ago, but to be fair, truth be told, I think I perpetually am corny like that. And the thought that I was romanticizing me walking away from the relationship made me want to just slap myself hard, as in, mainly because I was stepping away from the person because he had, drumroll please, the person had cheated on me. So, the nerve. Sabi ng iba, the nerd. Okay, we'll talk about idiomatic expressions and their new versions these days some other time. Okay, Andrei, composure. I think context is very necessary to the success of how I go about today's episode. So, here it goes. 2 years ago, I dated someone I think is almost 10 years younger than I am. At first, to be fair, I was adamant to doing it because of, again, the level of maturity. But again, my heart said, go on, just kidding. My heart said, go with it. Let's see what happens. So, ayun na nga yung nangyari. Wala pa. We were exclusively dating, and one weekend, I brought this person home with me to stay at my mom's house. And while we were in bed, trying to get to sleep, a message just popped from his phone, and it was quite the perfect timing that I'd look, well, to be fair, worst time ever for him in this scenario. It was as if the universe was protecting me and made sure I looked and saw the message. It was a racy message, and I felt like a big bucket of ice was immediately dumped onto me. In Filipino, para akong binuhusan ng yelo at that moment. And in an attempt to manage my emotions, because I'm nearing 40 and I need to be emotionally intelligent that way, I sat quietly while he was panickingly, if that's even the right term, panickingly trying to comfort me. And when I finally had my wits to myself, I started to ask them questions to him. But I'm not gonna go through the questions anymore. It's quite painful. Nagigil ka talaga asking these questions. But I don't wanna get into that headspace anymore. Long story short, his poor attempt to convince me that it was nothing and that he was dedicated to just being with me and simply wasn't cutting it. So wala, hindi kinaya, girl. Hindi talaga kinaya ng excuses. And here is the clincher, probably one of the most difficult situations I found myself in. Imagine after finding out that secret, we had to sleep in the same room. And not only that, we had to drive back to the metro in my car with him next to me inside the car, inside the vehicle, after his infidelity unraveled right before my naked, innocent eyes. And I must say, Kudos to me to keeping my cool and being mature about it. But I never want to figure myself into that situation ever or anything similar to that. So again, knock on wood, telling the universe I don't want that anymore. There you go. Now fast forward in an attempt to be mature and logical about it, because I did not want to jump into conclusions. I did something out of character. So first time talaga to. I asked for a cool off and I said I don't want to end it just yet, or I didn't want to end it, but I cannot be with him because of what had happened and that I needed time to think. A month had passed and I couldn't look past the incident. So, for three reasons. Reason number one is that his actions never matched his words. His confessions of love and fidelity came short when I found out of his actions. Sad but true. Number two is that, call me crazy, but the first months together, for me, should be the most fun, clingy, can't get enough of each other kind of feeling. Kumbaga, head over heels kayo with one another, and that you simply just want one another. Ang daming one another, no? Yung init na init pa kayo with one another. Isa pa yun. And there he was, already looking for a fling because apparently, I wasn't enough for him. Which is, again, completely okay with me. But, like, just be honest and tell me, and we can either work it out or amicably go our separate ways with respect. And reason number three, while I am completely accepting that I may not be enough for him, and other people for that matter, I love and respect myself enough to know that I do not deserve being cheated on and being disrespected. So, I chose to walk away. I was quite firm with my stand and decision to walk away. And when I say this, I really thought it through and buo talaga yung decision ko. And I'm glad I took that whole month to think, assess, and be fair to both me and him while in the process. And I say I am fair to him during the process, or I was fair to him during the process, because I had let him go so he has the opportunity to meet someone who will be enough for him. I did not hold him down. I did not tie him down. I did not make him miserable just because I was miserable. So, pat on the back na naman tayo, Andrei. And another thought that I held so deeply on is, while I'm aware, and I'm very much aware, that no one is perfect and that I am neither, cheating simply is unacceptable. I repeat, I love and respect myself enough to know that I do not deserve that. No matter how much extra weight I carry or how unattractive I can be, I simply do not deserve to be cheated on or disrespected. So, I took the only power I had at that vulnerable moment and used it. That power being to make my own decision, and that decision is to walk away. So, that's the name of that tune. Ang sad, no? And it is what it is. Now that we got that horrible experience or story out of the way, what had I learned from today's moment of reminiscing? I remembered the feeling of shame right after I was cheated on. I carried the burden as if it was my fault that he decided I wasn't good looking enough or stimulating enough for him, and I felt responsible for not being enough for him ultimately. And dude, that sucks 100%. Imagine I had spent all these years building myself up from the ground only to feel crappy because someone couldn't hold it in his pants. So imagine that. One of the bigger lessons I take away from this is, finally, dumating na din tayo dito. Okay, hear me out. People cheat on us because they found a reason or two to do so. Okay, while most of the time, their reason would stem from a trait, characteristic we hold, here's the breaking news, we shouldn't be blamed for the act of cheating. Because the act of cheating is theirs and their own decision. Imagine, totoo naman talaga, decision nila yun. Now, someone who might have cheated may say, or may come up to us and say, anong choice do I have? So I just had to cheat. This is my response to them. I would say break up. Do clean separation before you actually move on to the next person. And imagine this. Imagine this. You telling this person you are cheating on that you care and love them, and then all of a sudden you cost them the biggest heartbreak of their life and cost them their confidence, and even worse, their drive for life. Is that what you call love? Is that care? Is that respect? No. No one deserves to be treated that way, not even you. So, man up, woman up, break up as respectfully as you can before moving on to the next person. Heck, even before you allow yourself to feel for another person, because yes, emotional cheating is very real. Now, from the person who was cheated on, it took work and time and effort to understand that while I am not perfect and will always be less than what other people can offer, I simply do not deserve to be cheated on. I deserve respect, love, and to be cared for. I deserve to be broken up with respectfully after being told that you love me and that you care for me. I deserve to be left alone before you even start falling for the next person. I am not a backup plan. I am the plan. And if I'm not that to you, then it's completely okay. I understand. I respect that. And I really, really, really could agree that I am not that to you. But I know someone will find me to be the one someday. I'm hearing Nina someday queuing up. Ito na, play na natin. Just kidding. So ito na nga, laban na naman tayo, friends. My message is, and our message should be, I love myself and I know my value too well to subject myself to disrespect. Heartbreak, I know heartbreak is inevitable and is part of the process of dating, and I'm very well aware of that. But I'd rather be broken up with than to be cheated on. At least that says respect. That says I tried but it doesn't work. And that says I respect you and wish you happiness going forward, rather than the lie, I love you but I fell for someone else. Oh my gosh, I cannot even with that statement. Which makes us question our worth, self-value, which we work so hard to validate on a daily basis. I hope this podcast, this episode brings or helps bring a good perspective on how to see what cheating is or how to deal with it, and what wonderfully imperfect people we all are. One that deserves pure, genuine love that will hold us in this lifetime. Diba? Sarap pakinggan. Thank you guys for listening to this pod. If you haven't yet, please follow the Drei Talks Podcast on Spotify, YouTube. Also follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. Leave a comment and share how this episode resonated with you. Or only if you are up, if you're feeling up to it. Share your story and or perspective so we can create this community of learning from each other. One podcast episode at a time. Lumalabas na may pagka-corny ko. But yeah, I really mean that. And guys, this has been Andrei, and see you on the next episode.